Hi, and welcome to the lesson on 2.2 adding rational numbers. So I combined the activity day with the actual adding of rational numbers, mostly because when we did the activity, we used a number line, and you all kind of were like, I don't really like using it. Can't we use it the way that we added in positive and negative integers? So, hi, Colin. So, Colin's saying hi. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of talk really quickly about the number line, and then we'll show the mechanics about how to do this. So when we use the number line to add 2.7 to a negative 3.4, we started up here at 2.7, and then we added a negative 3.4, which meant that we went back 1, 2, and 3 to and then we had to go back the 0.4, which brought us here, which turns out to be negative 0.7. So how do we really do that? Well, we're going to, and this was the actual number line that we played with. So we're going to talk about how to really actually do that the way that you guys learned how to add and subtract positive and negative integers. So we're going to start with adding rational numbers, and we're going to start with, interesting. So we're going to start, with, okay, cancel, go away. With negative 8 thirds plus 5/6. So this is sort of a switch. We're switching from the decimals to the fractions. So if we didn't have the negative sign and we said we wanted 8 thirds and we wanted to add it to 5/6, what's the first thing that you have to do? Well, you have to find the least common denominator. So the least common denominator for this turns out to be 6. So in order to get this denominator to 6, we have to multiply it by 2. So if we do something to the bottom, we also have to do it to the top. Okay, so we're going to convert negative 8 thirds into sixths. So if I multiply the bottom times 2, I have to multiply the top times 2. So I end up with negative 16 over 6. And I'm still adding this to 5/6. Well, let's think of it this way. So we know the common denominator stays there, and we're going to think of it as negative 16 plus 5. So we remember how to do this from our integer days. If we have negative 16 and we add 5 to it, it ends up being 11/6. But remember it's negative, right? Because it is the absolute value of the largest absolute value. The number with the largest absolute value is negative 16, so the answer is negative. Now we want to convert this to a mixed number, so 6 goes into 11 once, and with 5 left over, and it is still negative. Okay, so let's try another example. I think it'd be just easier to create a new one of these. So you have a new tablet. So we are going to find what the answer to negative 4.05 plus 7.62. Okay, we're going to treat these exactly like we treated integers, and we did a little bit of this yesterday when we were working on the activity. So if I take the absolute value of negative 0.05, absolute value up and down, and I take the absolute value of 7.62, that is actually going to bug me. Let's make that really look like an absolute value. So the absolute value of negative 4.05 and the absolute value of 7.62. 7.62 has the larger absolute value. So it's like the integers. We take the larger absolute value and we subtract the rational number with the smaller absolute value. And I'm going to have to do some borrowing here. So 12 minus 5 is 7, and 5 minus 0 is 5, and that is 3. And so since the absolute value of the larger number is positive, your answer is positive, so your answer is 3.57. Okay, let's try, don't save, let's try some on your own. Here's the ones I would like you to try. Pause the video and then come back and see how you did. So I would like you to try adding -7/8 plus 1/4 and -6 1/3 plus 20/3. Okay, pause the video and see how you do. Okay, welcome back. So -7/8 plus 1/4. So these denominators are not the same, so we have to convert them to be common. So the least common denominator here would be 8, so that stays the same. The second one, in order to get this into eighths, I have to multiply by 2. So if I multiply the bottom, I also have to multiply the top. So that gives me 2/8. So I add the numerators over a common denominator. So -7 plus 2 gives me -5, -5/8. This one is already in thirds, but we want to create a improper fraction because it'll make this a little bit easier. So 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19, so I get -19/3. I'm going to add it to 20/3. So I add -19 to 20/3. So -19 plus 20 gives me 1, and my answer is 1/3.